Welcome, everyone. It is Inspiring Stories, episode 7, and we are going to be talking about unlocking creation. We have a concept in our coaching world about create, complete, and celebrate. We're going to have a whole journey to share with you today. Cliff, you want to start?
Yeah, thanks, April. In this time of this pandemic, it's been, as a coach, I've talked to a lot of my clients, and they've things are piling up as the year has gone on, and now we're approaching a year of this. People are getting tired, and they're getting worn down by it, and a lot of them are coming to me and saying, "I just can't get out of this funk. I can't get excited. I can't. It seems like Groundhog Day. Every day seems to be the same over and over again." And one of the ways we coach, and I know April coaches too, as I coach with her, we coach people on is staying in some sort of creation, to be able to be a creator. Because when you create, you really release those endorphins in your brain that get you excited again and want you to get up and enjoy life and continue on. But the hard part is they ask the question of me is, well, how do I create, or what do I create? I'm not a creative person. I'm not a creative person. So the story I would like to tell you about is really about how do we unlock those creative juices, and how do we get going if we're not a creative person, or we can't even think of something to create. And it starts with my mom, believe it or not. My mother was an educator. She was a teacher, and she was a principal, and she taught in some of the most rundown areas of Buffalo, New York, in the inner city ghettos of Buffalo, New York. And the thing that she impressed on her students, or what she real goal was to teach them to read. To reading was the most important thing that she did. And she would always say to me, "Cliff, if you can read, you can do anything. If you can read, you can do anything." And I would laugh that off. She was an educator. All educators say that. So, but the fact is that she was correct. If you can read, you can do anything. And I remember when I was about 17, 18 years old, my best friend at the time, Bob, he said, my grandmother, her fence had blown over in the winter in Buffalo, New York. And he said, she wants to hire us to go and put up a fence. Now, I was a young guy. I didn't know how to do this. I looked at Bob and I go, "Bob, come on. I don't know how to put up a fence. I could barely paintbrush something." And he said, "Well, Cliff, we'll just go to the library and we'll read on how to put up a fence." And I sort of chuckled and laughed because, again, I thought about my mom saying, if you read something, you can learn how to do it. Well, we did go to the library. We went to a little library that was next to our high school that we graduated on. And this is one of those little tiny one house little libraries. And we found a book on how to put up a fence. And we read the book completely, the two of us. And we went and we put up the most beautiful fence. And I have to say, it really was perfect. We took our time. We followed all the directions in the book. And his grandmother was thrilled. So the point being is you can learn and create anything that you want to do in your life by researching, reading, and learning from others who've already been through the experience. So if you find yourself today in one of those kind of funks that this world seems to be in now, get yourself to the library, find something that excites you, find some books, read up on them, and you can become an expert in a very, very short period of time.
And, Cliff, one of the gifts that we can add another reminder of why it's so important for us to read and teach reading to our children, to our grandchildren, etc., is a quick story I'll share in an interview I did years and years ago. It was a group interview for a very, very amazing school in Sacramento. And as I was sitting in the interview, one of the administrative professionals said, "I'm sure you all don't know that how they determine the gel cells, how many gel cells they will build, is by how many people passed with a fourth grade reading level. Anyone below that would increase their numbers of how many cells they built." And it was shocking for me. And then ironically, I read that same fact in another book by a pastor, a very well-known pastor in that community, actually in many other communities now. And a statistical fact of how important it is to read. And the gift that we all have is the beauty to teach, inspire, collaborate, communicate, and create, complete, and celebrate every day. Thank you for listening. We will see you for our next inspiring story.
Thank you.